Well, howdy, 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 and welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Which I guess today we're talking about a little bit of TV
the movies
and movies. Maybe
And
one or the other.
We're
Huh?
spoiling these people and movies too.
Oh my god!
Cartoons
Oh my God.
sometimes.
Howdy, everybody. How are y'all? How are you, brother? How are you?
Drinking wine, but it is 6 o'clock in the evening here. There's a dog going nuts. I don't know why, so ignore him.
No, that's how a 6 o'clock should be, I believe.
Hey, oh, Sarah.
Howdy, everybody. Sarah, if you got a few seconds, you can always pop in as well. But if not, you know, we're always loving a little helping chat. You know, banner. Thank you, Michael. I was so excited about our TVs and movies there for a second.
Yeah.
Which is pretty exciting, huh? What? What? Oh! I haven't had a chance to check out that Daredevil trailer yet. Have you?
Fuck
No.
off. I didn't know it was out. I've not. I've been
Literally in
working
the
all
shower.
day.
I was like, do I
Okay.
take 3 minutes to do this right now or wash my hair? I chose the latter, but I wanted to watch the Daredevil trailer.
Born Again trailer.
Should we watch it right? I guess. Oh, I don't want to demonetize the stream,
Yeah.
but also
It's only 2 minutes. Talk amongst yourselves.
well, we could bring it up and just mute
He's
our
lost a bit of weight,
microphones.
isn't he? So you can talk about it like I'm watching the trailer.
Oh, God. I haven't
has
seen the
lost a bit
trailer
of
yet.
weight.
Michael hasn't seen it yet. Oh, because we could edit out the sound for it so we're not restricted.
I can say the same about you.
Should we do it, y'all? Give me yes or no. Give me a Y or an N in chat. Are we going to watch
If
the
you put
trailer?
it on now, you will be demonetized for this episode.
We can
It's
also,
cute.
but remember afterwards you can
Cut it
edit
out.
the sound out of
Yeah.
it, which is good. Oh, howdy, Modest Traveler. Howdy, everybody. That trailer did look good. Woo! We have no
Line was
Y's or N's yet.
crossed.
What are we thinking? We watch it real quick, or do we wait a
I'm
second?
watching it already. You can do what you like. I am so excited about this series. You have no idea. It's. I mean, there's. If it was this or Stargate, I'd be like, I know Stargate, but it's close.
Okay, do we watch it?
Hello.
We might as well just get some excitement going.
Yeah, do it.
3 hours ago.
I knew he was in it, but I'm just seeing it on the thing is very exciting.
Is it Bullseye? Because I did see that he's in there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, just in Bullseye. No, the Punisher.
Oh, hell yeah. What's the best way to do this to try to mitigate the demonetization? Should I just pause it every few seconds, kind of, or?
Yeah, that won't help.
All right. We'll screw it. Let's just watch it. All right, starting it. Let's do this thing.
Scrapped what they were doing before. I'll tell you what they were doing before in a minute. Oh god, it was bad.
Oh. Give me.
The end of the trailer was so good.
Peace needs to be broken.
Headshot. Good one.
Chaos must reign.
Oh wow.
Am I putting the hatchet down?
He wasn't.
I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised to believe in retribution.
The proper uniform. I know. Oh yeah, that's what you mean about the themes, the music being just altered ever so slightly.
Oh, that was sick.
I was going to say we need to do a video on what are we looking forward to in 2025. To be honest, my Daredevil is top of the list for me. When I first heard the rumors that Daredevil's coming back, I was so excited, and then I started hearing what was actually being done, and I was like, "Oh no, they've ruined Daredevil."
No.
Well, it was going to be the Daredevil we saw in She-Hulk. She-Hulk was going to be in it as well. And that was another reason I think. But it was going to be listed as what is the equivalent to 12A in America? Is there a PG-13? It was going to be PG-13.
Yeah.
This is 15 to 18, depending on clarification. That there needs to be classed, but they've said they're not getting into 15 in the UK, whatever the UK of that is, whatever the American version of that is. You can see from the trailer they're not getting a PG-13 rating.
That freaking just the it was all visceral. The thing that was the most visceral was that leg break. That was.
I like the arm break. The arm break, and then you see the immediate thing because the bone doesn't stick through; it just sort of like hits the back of the skin. That's so good. God. But what happened was when the strikes hit, they rewrote things. All the She-Hulk stuff dropped, and Kevin Feige, it went to his level, and they went, "We're scrapping it and starting again." And it's the best decision Disney has made for probably 6 or 7 years. Echo started well, but went.
Well, I mean, that looked almost as good as Echo.
Echo, it better be much better than Echo. Echo started well, but then went off a cliff.
See, Echo didn't even start all that well for me because the way they like it didn't start off awfully. It started off better than a lot of the other shows have, I guess.
Yeah.
In gritty sense, but it was definitely PG-13 grit when they advertised it as this is our first TV mature show. No, it wasn't. No.
It started well. It just then became a drama or something, and it was just a bit boring. And if you've got Fisk in it, he's got to be used better than that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, I wasn't impressed. The last thing I liked TV-wise, I liked Hawkeye. I did enjoy that. I thought it could have been better, but it was pretty good. It was very watchable, and I'd happily watch it again.
Once again, that was that like last episode. I thought Hawkeye was a great series until the last episode was just
last episode was a little disappointing. Yeah,
how goofy do we want to get immediately? Like, ease into it, you know? Like
they've had to basically ignore that, haven't they? Because Fisk, his eye's fine. He was shot in the head, so they've ignored that, which I think was for the best. Daredevil, the Netflix series, Daredevil and Punisher and Jessica Jones, the first season of Jessica Jones in particular, were bloody excellent. And to not follow that up with a decent series, I mean, making a Daredevil series is honestly, it's not that hard. You come up with a good storyline. You've got all the ingredients there. All you have to do is actually do it properly.
It's adult Spider-Man with less powers, and you just put him in a lawsuit more often, and you're set.
But it's got to be brutal because the character is brutal. That's kind of the point. He hasn't got superpowers, so he has to do everything, with aggression, sort of thing. Or he's got a superpower. He has Jessica Tennant, the first season of Jessica Jones.
That's one of those villains that, like, hey, if you can find a way to bring him back, Tennant's Purple Man was literally, I hated him. There was that was one of those moments like, I want you to be on the screen as much as possible, but every time you're on screen, my teeth are gritting, and I'm just like, don't do it.
The thing I love about Tennant's Purple Man is, again, he's a broken, evil human being, but there's always that element there as well that you're thinking, if you were him and you had that power, are you telling me at times you wouldn't abuse the crap out of it? You know what I mean? You would.
Well,
almost everybody would.
Well, you would accidentally abuse
it.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You would accidentally abuse it. Like, you wouldn't even be trying to use that power, and you'd be like, oh, shit, I just did it again. I guess I'll have to lean into it.
It would corrupt me. You
can't corrupt anyone.
Help it.
That's the epitome of absolute power corrupts absolutely, I feel like.
If you accidentally bump into Charlize Theron and you've got that power, you're not telling me you're going to use it. You might feel awful later. You might feel like the most terrible human being that's ever lived. But for
how are you using it? I'm getting a role on the next film she's in. What do you mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no, I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Tenet's coming to Kansas City Planet Comic-Con in March. Hell yeah, that'd be cool.
I love David Tennant. He's brilliant. He's in a series on Disney at the moment called Rivals, and he's great in it. Yeah.
He's getting some trouble.
Just F off and die. Just like I've said that more than once to people, and oh man, you would, go fuck yourself. Yeah, just like
good luck.
Things that you would do that would cause real problems, and you'd have to really learn. But again, if you had that power as a child, Christ, you would corrupt because you'd grow up learning that. So it would twist you. You would grow up to be a messed up human being. The spoiled brat on, you know what I mean? I've had that much wine.
Maybe a separate perspective on this would be nice. Sarah, how would you deal with the Purple Man?
Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Sarah,
how are you?
TV
I'm good.
and movies.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's amazing.
How about that?
Yeah, I know. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Excellent.
That's good.
I caught the end of the trailer. It looks awesome.
Thank you very much.
I didn't watch the Netflix series. I need to do that.
Oh, really?
You have to watch that.
I've started watching it and it just didn't suck me in, but now I'm gonna.
How far did you get into it?
I'll have to watch it.
There is an element of slow burn in the first couple of episodes because they're introducing a lot, and you don't obviously get the Daredevil uniform until the end of the season. The second season was a little weaker, but the third season just rockets again. But then you watch Punisher. It's
second
excellent.
Season's weaker until you get back to that Punisher stuff. Then John Bernthal reminds you. It's really only weaker because you're not focusing on the Daredevil story as much. Mm-hmm. But the story you get is arguably just as good. It's just it takes the focus away from the story at hand a little bit. 3 in Punisher. Oh.
Yeah, Jessica Jones is excellent. Don't bother with Luke Cage and don't bother with
Luke Cage is awesome.
I watched Jessica Jones, but I think I quit watching after the second or third season because it was kind of getting depressing.
Yeah, I think there was only 3, wasn't it? Was there only 2 seasons of Jessica Jones?
2 of everything besides
Daredevil had 3.
And
then we got Defenders.
Just 1 season of Defenders.
Iron Fist was I watched Iron Fist and it's fine. It's better than a lot of stuff on TV now. They just miscast the Iron Fist.
Yeah, I like Danny Rand. Finn Jones, the guy from Game of Thrones that played him, is a great actor. It just wasn't Iron Fist.
Work.
Didn't work. David Wenham, though, in that TV show was really good. Old Faramir himself there was pretty good.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Whose name I don't know who's in it. She's in lots of things now. She was amazing. And she's a very, very good martial artist.
What's her name?
But yeah, she's great.
She's in The Matrix and the new Matrix.
The new one,
but very good. I know her name too.
I'll remember. Talk about a movie.
But of course,
I haven't gotten to talk about, but.
And now they're making Firefly Born Again. Real quick, were y'all able to catch that Skeleton Crew finale last night?
No, watching it tonight.
I'm watching it.
And then I'm going to watch Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
Well,
the reason why we're doing an hour today is because I've got to watch Skeleton Crew and I've got to watch Alien Romulus and I've got to be asleep by about 11 because I've not been sleeping very well. So,
well, there we go.
I'm trying to sedate myself.
The wine should help, I believe. But yeah, Firefly Born Again. Where are we? What are we thinking? Where is Firefly in the world? Jamie?
What?
Where is Firefly
in the world? It's not. It's in another.
They're out.
Where is it in the universe? Where's the Serenity of the universe?
The Earth that was all used up, and so they left for another and terraformed on the solar system.
So which world are we on?
If you haven't seen my videos about this already, over on the Texan Pulse podcast, go and subscribe.
Yeah.
Basically, where we're at is about a year ago, Universal raised the possibility with Nathan Fillion, who's apparently been bugging studios about this for 15 years, about doing a Firefly trilogy of movies. and it was talked about during the strikes. Nathan Fillion's got an idea for a story, and they were seriously looking at it. Universal even went as far as trying to just clarify the rights, because Universal owned the movie rights, Disney owned the TV rights. Universal were thinking about doing a TV movie, a streaming movie for Peacock, and they're like, actually, when these contracts were agreed, that wasn't a thing, so we need to clarify this. And apparently Disney sort of said, oh, we wouldn't stand in the way, we wouldn't fight it, and we might even sort of like have a cooperate, but we'll, let's come back to it. Then Nathan Fillion got the DC gig. Nathan Fillion also likes having at least 3 months off each year, so it's been sort of at a thumb in the dike.
Yeah, just attacking the.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's come up again though, but apparently now it's Disney who do own the TV rights through Fox. So they have apparently approached Nathan Fillion and said that, would you like to do this? The thinking being that there would be a mini series followed by a soft reboot. So a in-universe, new series, new characters. I don't know how it would work exactly. I think they'd be stupid not to have like a couple of legacy characters in there, like Zoe is the captain or something. But however they do, I don't know. And that's basically where we're at the moment. That there are conversations going on about how they would do it, how it would look, and when, if possible, Nathan Fillion would be even available to do it. He's still got the Rookie that he's in is sort of, his character is sort of winding down a little bit. He's already not appearing in it as much. He is executive producing the Rookie Washington DC series, which is going to basically back to this exactly the same principle as the LA version, same storyline. He won't be appearing in it other than maybe the odd guest appearance, and that doesn't think. It really depends on DC and if he does more with James Gunn. Basically, that's the only thing that could really screw this as a plan. And that's kind of where we're at. Blah. Dog's barking again.
Well, that's not a bad place to be at with Firefly for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, would you guys even want a reboot?
I watched Firefly for the first time last year.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what,
I like the idea of a soft reboot, kind of transition from old to new.
That seems to be the plan. They do sort of a transition. I think Disney are wise enough to know if they just did a soft reboot, there would be annoyance, there would be anger. But if they want to do something and call it Firefly, they've got to do something in between with Nathan Fillion, etc.
Yeah.
And Nathan Fillion has always said he would love to. Well, I'll tell you what. First question, Joss Whedon. Okay. It looks like this would be dependent on him coming back because he owns elements of the IP and because he wrote it, basically, and was the executive producer and showrunner and blah, blah, blah. He doesn't own the IP, but he owns elements of it. So they couldn't do something without him anyway. Joss Whedon has had a difficult time, and there has been accusations of bullying, etc. Charisma Carpenter basically said his behavior made her almost want to top herself. So serious accusations. Could this be his way back into Hollywood? This would be my first question.
I think so.
Joss Whedon, born again.
I don't know. It could be a way back in for him. I don't know if it should be a way back in for him. I obviously respect Nathan Fillion and his love for his friend, but that friend didn't mess up with just Charisma Carpenter. He messed up with Gal Gadot. He messed up with Ray Fisher. He messed up with Ben Affleck. He messed up with Henry Cavill. Anybody that was part of
Ben Affleck was ready to kill him. Apparently,
they were supposed to be at each other's throats in a big way. And I believe, obviously, everything's hearsay. It's 10 years ago anyway. But if Joss was a big part of the Batman from Ben Affleck not being made because he was having such a bad time in the DC universe, it literally changed the trajectory of some of the largest stars and the one of the second or third largest franchises on the face of the planet. Even though it hasn't picked up like that, it's still as large as it is. I don't know. I don't know if this could be a door that opens for him. I don't know if it's a door that should open for him.
Yeah. How do you come off Avengers and then do Justice League? It's just astonishing. I know Snyder and all that, and it was very difficult. You cannot change director halfway through a project like that and it not screw everything up. But yeah, well, they really screwed that up. So yeah. What do you think, Sarah? Are the accusations a major problem? He's not been found guilty of anything. He's never been took to court or anything like that.
I don't know all the accusations that have been made. I've heard that he's like a bully and difficult to work with. I don't know all the accusations, but I mean, if there was a way for him to come back, this would be it. Because I mean, I think aside from Buffy, this is like the number one thing he's known for, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think and Buffy's also a project that they're trying to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if Firefly, I don't know which one would be more likely to come back first, but he would have to be involved in both at some level. Yeah. So, I'm going to kill that dog. I don't know what he's barking at. I don't know where his bloody owner is, but anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's.
Maybe he just comes out and is like, I've grown, changed. I don't know, maybe if he kind of.
I'm sorry.
Comes out, and like.
Yeah. But even I saw James Masters talking about him, and he said at one point, Spike from Buffy, he says at one point he had me against the wall, by the throat sort of thing, threatening me. I said, I'm going to have you fired and you're not fucking, because he was only ever supposed to be like a small part in the role, but he was so popular, the executives over at Fox basically forced Joss Whedon to come up with a role for him and to keep him in, and then forced him to move over to Angel as well, which Joss Whedon wasn't happy about. So he, I think, but James Masters says Masters or Masters, it's one of the other, basically said
Masters.
Anyway. I think it's Masters. I always mix him up and the guy called Masters, the guy that played Cyclops.
Yeah.
Excuse me a second. Shut up. It seemed to work.
For a second.
Yeah, and then he started again. So
he does the voice of. I don't know if you've known of like the Dresden Files books.
I watched the Dresden Files. Yeah. I watched the series. I never read the books. I watched the series.
He does. Spike does the voice for the audiobooks. It's really good.
Oh, very cool. His main thing is he's obviously in a band and he loves doing that. But but James Masters always said, I don't hold anything against him. He was passionate about what he was doing. Right. He's this was his baby, and I was kind of there. Not my fault, but I was kind of there screwing it up. And he was passionate about it, so he never said he felt bullied by it, but he knows other people did, and it wasn't something he holds against him. Nathan Fillion has always said, I never saw anything like that. We were a family on Firefly. I've never heard any accusations against him from Firefly. Maybe because it didn't go on long enough, but it seems to be he gets pissed when there's stuff above him, and stresses, maybe doesn't manage to stress very well or whatever, and he comes out his anger but when executives were messing with Buffy, his stress, he's with Justice League, obviously that was a shit show from beginning to end, and his anger came out.
That just
I'm not aware of any accusations against him from when he did the Avengers. I'm not aware of it. It seems to be projects that have problems.
Right.
When it comes out.
Doesn't deal with it well. Yeah, anyway. But who knows,
maybe no excuse.
Maybe he's matured.
He's a bit older. So,
yeah.
But it's two projects I would love to see come back. But Charmed got a reboot a couple of years ago, and I liked Charmed. Yeah. It was one of those shows I fancied I fancied all of them, but I really liked Charmed, particularly around the third or fourth season. It got really good.
I did watch that not too long ago. Yeah.
That was a great show. they rebooted it and it was awful. I think it managed 2 seasons, but
yeah, I remember seeing like ads for it on CW or whatever I think it was here. Anyway, it didn't look.
It didn't make any sense.
I never watched it. It didn't look good from the ads, so I just never did.
Were you wearing that coat when you left?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, is the street on fire? By the way, you're right.
All good, thankfully. Still, everything seems to be all right. The fire closest to us right now is at, I think, 19-20% contained, so it's almost 0.25% contained, which is good. Better than the 11% it was last time we checked in.
Yeah.
The Eaton fires, I believe, 45-46% contained, so it's almost halfway. So fingers crossed. Hopefully, we're all good in the next day or two. The wind was supposed to have picked up in the last 36-48 hours, and knocking on wood, but it has not really picked up at all, and I'm hoping it doesn't. So fingers crossed. Cars getting detailed, so that's great. But what did I miss?
I can't remember. Oh, we were talking about Joss Whedon and the accusations against him. We're just saying when there's accusations against him, it seems to be when the project is having problems. So like Buffy, there was a lot of accusations, but there was a lot of crap from Fox giving him grief and a lot of issues around Angel and stuff. And then obviously there was a lot of accusations when he worked on Justice League. But there weren't, as far as I'm aware, on Firefly, and there weren't, as far as I'm aware, from Avengers. So it seems to be when things go well, he's fine, but when they don't, it comes out.
Some of that is also NDAs. Whenever like the I don't know, I guess the Firefly or not Firefly, excuse me, the Buffy stuff back in the day necessarily. I was a little too young for that one to like remember, but the Justice League stuff in 2016-2017 era, that I don't know if it the NDA stuff is confusing because sometimes, of course, an NDA contract is just a certain amount of time, then it runs out, you know. But with the amount of new heads, new vice presidents, new CEOs, new whatever that was going on with Warner Brothers throughout that time, who knows what those contracts actually said? And some of that NDA stuff might have, because, you know, Ray Fisher was trying to be kind of nice for a little bit, then wasn't super nice, and Gal Gadot jumped on. That's when Ben Affleck and the rest of them jumped on too. To me, that kind of says, or signals at least, some kind of change of leadership said that, or something in one of their clauses said that, hey, a change of leadership allows us to kind of break that NDA or allow us to speak on certain things, maybe not like production things, but personal experiences on the production we can talk about or something like that. I don't know the caveat, but that would be my instinct, I guess.
It is possible, depends on how the contract was worded, how the NDA was worded. It is possible. But from as far as Firefly goes, though, I just think Joss Whedon as showrunner, I don't know if he's still got the writers seem to get not so good as they get older. It does seem that. I've always said this is a similar thing for comedians, that stand-up comedians and stuff, generally speaking, they're better when they're younger and a bit more drive. I don't know. They don't seem to have the same sort of bite or whatever, and
they're not as topical.
Well, yeah, maybe. So whether he could still do something, write something that would excite us, but I think he'd be in the position definitely to at least run the ship. And at the end of the day, if Nathan Fillion trusts him and Nathan Fillion can work with him, because at the end of the day, this will only happen if Nathan Fillion wants it to happen,
right?
And that's the end of it. Disney will be. Nathan Fillion is one of the top 5 TV stars right now, and has been for pretty much 20 years,
decades. Yeah. Firefly to Castle to Rookie, and I'm sure there's 3 or 4 other big ones in there too.
Castle, he was the highest paid TV star for like 5 years or something. I don't know if he still is, but he was for like 5 years right in a straight sort of thing off Castle. So I mean, I just think that if Nathan Fillion says I want Joss Whedon involved and he wants blah 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 whatever, he's involved. That's the end of it. But he'd have to be involved on some level anyway, because as I say, he owns elements of the IP.
Is it similar to how Roland Emmerich owns the film rights to Stargate?
Emmerich doesn't own the film rights to Stargate. He's contracted to executive produce if
there we go.
thingy. So that's a bit different. But because Joss Whedon wrote Buffy, wrote Firefly, he created Firefly with Tim Minear. They own elements of the IP, but the intellectual property is owned by Fox and therefore Disney. So it's one of those things that you can't do Firefly without his permission, but Joss Whedon can't do Firefly without Disney's permission, sort of thing.
Right.
So it's a bit complicated, but basically you own you don't, when you own an intellectual property on that, unless you buy, basically it depends on the contract you sign, but yeah, he owns the intellectual parts of the IP. But that's just a matter of, you just give an executive producer role and tell him to sit in the back and shut up, which happens a lot.
Well, I was going to say, did y'all discuss the possibility of maybe, we obviously for Stargate discussed Brad Wright maybe coming back as the Feige of Stargate, or maybe if Mark Burgess and Hawk Otsby kind of take over that role, maybe he can be brought back as a supervisor to some degree. Would a supervision, like, I guess, direction kind of spot for Joss Whedon, you feel like might work better? Might be a way of inching him back into the public eye without harming that again?
He seems to be a control freak.
That's my only worry there. Pushing people against walls and
yeah, probably not, to be honest. But
so does that make him an all or nothing?
I think it'd be all or nothing. I think it'd be all or nothing. I think he's got to run it or nothing. But he has shown, I mean, he didn't write all of Firefly. He didn't write all the Buffy episodes, so he can work with people. I think Tim Minear wrote Out of Gas, and that's the best Buffy episode by a mile. Yeah, thumbs up.
Out of Gas, yeah. Disney's involved. I've already lost interest in it. Do you think Disney is
the big comment thing that we've had? Most people have said, if it's Disney, I'm not interested.
Right.
But before we even get to that conversation of it, would Disney ever work with Joss again after Age of Ultron, and particularly after he went over and did the Justice League again, which obviously we know how that worked out?
Age of Ultron, I don't know, people sort of shit on Age of Ultron, but I think it's all right.
I guess I'm not saying quality-wise for that, but more for the production aspect.
I love Age of Ultron.
Well, the film is fine.
It's better than everything they've done since Endgame. It's better than Marvel's even, or Miss Marvel, whatever. It's all Captain Marvel. It's better than all those. It just wasn't. It was just a bit of a dip of what they were doing at the time. Yeah.
Well, even without the quality aside, I guess, for Ultron, the production aspects of dealing with Joss Whedon, I mean, he was Disney's biggest banker. I mean, Avengers and Avengers 2, like that's who they got to do it. And then they said, sorry, we don't want to work with you because you're hard to work with. Do you think that would be the thing that keeps him from working with Disney again, or Disney from working with him? Rather than
you want to get it done, don't they? Because if they want Firefly to be done, listen, I would honestly say there's probably only about 50-50 chance of Firefly getting done. I honestly think that is, and that's probably being a bit generous. If you think about only 1 in 5 shows that actually get past the pitch stage ever actually get made, I think it's getting a higher rate than that, though, because if they can make it work, I know for a fact Disney will do it if they can make it work. But the two biggest problems are Nathan Fillion's schedule and Joss Whedon. And if Joss Whedon becomes a problem, Disney might just say it's not worth it. It's not worth the effort. Because they can't do it without him unless they pay him off. And he'd have to accept that, wouldn't he? So he'd have to come up with some sort of deal that he was acceptable. And he might just go, no, I won't do it.
If he'd have to accept it, and then Nathan Fillion would as well.
Yeah. And Nathan Fillion would probably go with him. But if he's got any sense, he's going to know this is my way back in. So this is my second chance, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think people need to worry. I know I did a video on this and I dropped yesterday. I don't think people need to worry so much about Disney.
Right.
Nathan Fillion has got all the power in this. And I cannot see him agreeing to it unless basically the contract gives them pretty much autonomy. Or I just don't think I don't think he'll do it. He loves the project too much. He won't let them fuck around with it. I just can't see him doing it. He's too savvy. He's not stupid. And Disney, I know Disney have a lot of problems, but not everything they do is rubbish. You know, they do produce some good things. You know, some Star Wars stuff is good. Some Marvel stuff is good. Yes, okay, they've interfered in a lot of stuff. Has also been a problem. But and don't get me wrong, there are things that they've done in the last few years, and I'm like, what the hell is that? They've ruined that before you even think about it.
Like Artemis Fowl,
live action cartoons. Yeah, it's just they made some dreadful decisions. But not everything they've done is rubbish.
Yeah, a lot of stuff is.
Yeah, there is stuff from there. But hey, Stanley. But they need to let Nathan Fillion and Joss Whedon do the project they want to do. And that's up to Joss Whedon and Nathan Fillion to negotiate something with them to basically say, you need to give us a check, you need to leave us alone. You need to let us crack on with it. A good example of this, Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool. He basically said, I was really worried because we take the piss out of Fox, we take the piss out of Disney. I was really worried we were going to get a lot of pushback. And he said he got one comment. There was one joke that they asked him to sort of like push back on. And he said, actually, in hindsight, they were right. We'd gone too far. So actually, in hindsight, they were bang on. We needed to. So he changed one joke. It made him stop and think. And you know, when they thought about it calmly, they thought, yeah, no, they were right. That's too much. Other than that, they let everything slide. They had no notes, sort of thing. They just trusted him and let him get on with it. Because he's their biggest bank. You know, Ryan Reynolds is one of the biggest stars in Hollywood right now. You trust him because people don't like Ryan Reynolds films. They like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, the last few movies he's done not been that good.
Yeah,
it was okay.
Still, yeah, I like Adam Project. It's not great. I like Adam Project, but
yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is playing Ryan Reynolds. You know, Ryan Reynolds doesn't play actors; he just plays Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, totally. Chop low. Thank you, good sir. Thank you.
What are you thanking him for?
Okay. Well, was it Stanley? Stanley just brought up a good question. Are we talking animated or live action, time jump or continuation?
So we're talking a live action continuation, 20 years after the events of the movie.
Do you think? Well, do we know exactly what rights Nathan Fillion owns? Like, is it the? We're not entirely sure.
Firefly now.
Oh, well, then technically they could still make Firefly without him whenever they feel like it, couldn't they?
I think they just know that it would be a disaster.
Yeah, what would be the point? Because it's all about,
Well,
at this point, they've made enough reboots to know that you cannot reboot something as loved as Firefly and it succeed. You've got the Rings of Power problem. You've got all this. The social media will destroy it before it ever gets made. There's certain projects that are like they're too loved. And Firefly is 100% one of those projects that you cannot do. You cannot do a remake. You cannot do, I think, until like 40 years has gone by. You know what I mean? It's like Highlander at the moment. The only reason they're able to do a remake now is because nearly 50 years has gone by since the original. And they're like, okay, I think we're safe now.
Right.
And people have sort of like, yeah, okay, we can do it now.
Well, the original wasn't done that great either. So
No.
it's
Highlander is
a classic, but
it should be remade. Yeah. Oh, if it wasn't for the music, I'm not sure Highlander would be remembered. It wasn't particularly well made. Other than, the Kurgan is amazing.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Christopher Lambert is good. He is good. Yeah. But the Kurgan is just...
Oh, you put Clancy Brown and just let Clancy Brown do Clancy Brown things, and life's good.
Yeah. Clancy Brown. When he jumps in when he drags that bloke out of the car and he jumps in the car and he's got, the steps in and goes, Mom! And I'm like, that's one of my favorite films.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But it is Clancy Brown. Yeah, he's I mean, everyone talks about Sean Connery in that film, but Clancy Brown made that film and the music. Without that, that film would not be remembered. It would be like,
they can keep the music.
yeah, it'd be like Krull or something, you know, like an okay film, and people kind of remember it, but it would have been like that, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It might have had sort of like Conan sort of maybe that sort of level, but it wouldn't be more than that. It wouldn't be iconic sort of thing that it became. But
yeah,
also when you get a film that's ruined, yeah, well, yeah. But also when you get a film that's ruined by the sequels, I think that's when you sort of like, oh, actually, no, I give it enough time, I'm okay.
Cool.
On the yeah, it was fun, but it's not, you know. I'd like to see, yeah, when a film's ruined by the sequels, you could go, yeah, I don't mind a remake.
Right.
You mess that up. You poop the scoop. Do a remake.
Yeah, that's one that's ready.
Okay, real quick before we go back to some Firefly, Gigwise was asking, "Wait, what? Highlander coming back?" But of course. Oh,
yep.
Henry Cavill.
It goes in production. I think they're filming soon. So Henry Cavill is playing the Highlander. And yeah, it should be out 2026.
Do we know who the Kurgan's going to be?
We don't know any more casting as far as I know.
Nothing yet.
But it's supposed to be it's in pre-production now. It's in development and pre-production now.
Okay.
So we'll be getting casting news.
Doing that right now. Yeah.
You don't get casting news until they're a couple of weeks before filming sometimes.
Yeah.
It's really last minute sometimes, or they announce it. I mean, they've He-Man starts filming in a couple of weeks, and we're only really just getting sort of like casting news now.
Well, really. Supergirl started filming 2 days ago, and we really don't. Everyone's been so focused on Creature Commandos and Clayface and all these other different things that they're popping up with that it's like, oh, wait a second. Sure, okay, Jason Momoa is probably going to be Lobo in there, but who else? What else is going to be? We know there's going to be more characters with the way I said Flag. I saw Fringe in there. I have not seen Fringe, but not the way Flag, not Rick Flag. James Gunn, whatever his name is. Sarah and I said Rick Flag so many times the other day. I'm just associating Rick Flag and James Gunn with the same person now. Okay. It's just James Gunn is Rick Flag with a typewriter, and Rick Flag is Rick Gunn with an actual gun.
Stop saying Rick Flag. Move on.
My brain's stuck. I'm on a repeat right there. But animation. That's what I was thinking of. With Firefly, could they almost say this could be a test for Joss in a way? It could be a test just to see where audiences actually are. Because whether it's a huge cult hit or not, it did not have people with eyes on it whenever it came out originally. Yeah. Who's to say it actually will again? I mean, we think so.
That's what Babylon 5. That's what they did with Babylon 5. They greenlit the animation to test the waters regarding the planned reboot, hard reboot. That's what that was not the main, but that was one of the motivations for why they did the animated movie. And it is possible they could do the same with Firefly. And again, you could do it almost completely in an almost complete secret. But again, the Babylon 5 thing, we didn't know it was done until it was done. You know, we found out it was coming a couple of months before it was released. You know, it was like it was done. It was in post production, and you know, Nathan Fillion's schedule doesn't become a major problem because it's only a couple of days' work for the voiceover rather than months. And you could even bring back characters in theory that are dead. You could do something. You could bring back Wash and characters like that because you could say it was set before the movie. You know, so there are ways that animated thing could work to sort of bring it back. I don't know anything whether that's being discussed, but it would be something that would obviously make sense and that would do really well. It only seems though that Warner Brothers are the only company that sort of do that sort of thing, because they do projects almost just to keep the animation studio busy sometimes. And you got to remember as well, the Babylon 5 project was basically based on DVD sales, which is like that's like so 2005.
You're right.
Like it's just not done. Warner Brothers have got a little niche for it. You create a nice box, you sell it as a collector's thing, and they make all their money back just off the DVD sales, and then you put it on streaming and stuff, and it does really well. Yeah. So they've been doing that with Batman and Justice League movies and stuff for years, and it works.
That's
really
been the whole DC animated universe that's just been making them.
Yeah, they've done really well with the DC animated stuff.
Yeah, I would argue that DC is the only DC good stuff they've done. But they release these movies, they put it behind a paywall or they put it behind a DVD or whatever, and they make their money, and they're quite happy. But also because the animation, the technology they use is basically the same for every movie, it's not expensive. You know, they're not. They can just buy them out. But Disney would have a little bit more of a problem with that. But I mean, obviously, it's Disney though. They have people that could do it. They could get Pixar to do it or something. And you know, there's loads of ways they could do it if they wanted to. But I've not heard anything about that. That's complete speculation.
Well, just because it feels like it might be a good way to do it without the main cast and almost get. I feel like it might be a good way to soft reboot, just so you get your new main cast. Okay, maybe we have Miranda Baccarin or oh my God, what's her name? Wash's wife. That's like the
I don't know her actor. I don't know the actor's name. Zoe.
Zoe. There we go. She could be leading a charge to go find Malcolm. Maybe he's out of commission. Maybe he's not exactly. Maybe he's been taken by somebody or something. And the soft reboot is Zoe or whoever. Or maybe I forget Miranda Baccarin's character as well. I've only ever watched it once, so I need to watch it down again. But I can't remember either one of their names. But Zoe, I remember now. Either one of them would be great.
Wash, Jane, Booker.
Yeah. I don't think Jane would be hiring a crew necessarily to go find Mal.
I would love to see it if he did, though. That would be hilarious.
But he would be the very first person that either Zoe or Miranda Baccarin's character would probably go to, hire somebody to get back to go try to find Mal or something like that, which could be a fun way of saying, all right, we don't want to necessarily pay for everybody just yet. We're setting the stage, but we also have a fun, contained story that we're here to tell.
Inara. How did I forget Inara?
Inara. Okay. Watching it yesterday too.
Yeah.
I only got 4 episodes in. It's been a while since I've watched Firefly, but I've only 4 episodes in.
Well, the thought process for animation also comes from, I guess Legion had a great point earlier. It wasn't this one.
Don't flash up comments that quickly. You always do.
Well, I was saying it wasn't that one. It was this one because it was just I just saw Legion himself who answered it or asked the question. Excuse me. Are we past the point of it being 100% realistic?
Nathan Fillion isn't in his 50s yet, for a start. Or if he is, he's low 50s. Kaylee,
he's like the same age as me.
Yeah, well, Summer Glau still looks amazing. Kaylee still looks amazing. I said this in the video. It's only really Jane who's aged quite badly. He looks his age. He's got a bit of weight on. He's gone bald, basically. He's the only one that sort of looks massively sort of different. Zoe, I want to say Torres or something. She looks the same. And at the end of the day,
isn't she married to Morpheus? I don't think they are anymore.
Well, at the end of the day, Nathan Fillion is doing an action series.
That'd be awesome.
He's still appearing in action movies, so it's really not a problem. But maybe we don't want them to do this in another 10 years. Maybe we do sort of want them to do it now or never.
Well, that's kind of where I'm alluding to is like, do we have to get it done now, or we wait 3 to 5 years and then it starts becoming harder and harder? Because Keanu Reeves' last movie was like, oh, I'm ready for another one. And literally just got done filming with ballerinas and says, my knees hurt. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I want to do it, but my knees don't.
So, but he just looks really good for his age.
Yeah. Well, look, we don't want in your 50s, as long as you've looked after yourself, Sarah,
totally.
You can do anything you want to do. And there can be something. Okay, you might have to have a bit of an ice pack after a stunt or something, but I appreciate we don't want Indiana Jones in his 80s. We don't want Jean-Luc Picard in his 80s, because watching the last season of Picard was almost sad, because you can see that Patrick Stewart can barely freaking walk, and it's sad to see that he really struggles. Right, so I don't want that, but you know, he can do it in his 50s. He could do it in his 60s. You know, Cary Grant was in his 60s and still doing action movies and snogging the 20-year-old co-star, and nobody batted an eyelid. You know, it's possible. He did say that's why he quit movies, because he was starting to get creepy. But you know, it's like
well,
Nathan Fillion doesn't. You know, he's like you said, he's 53. He's not 73. I don't have any issue with that at all. But yes, we maybe don't want to wait another 10 years.
Yeah, because really, it's not about how old he is now. It's how old he will be at the end of the series. And you don't want to have the character that you've seen doing all this cool stuff for 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons. If we get that, hopefully, fingers crossed, you know.
No,
finally, in that last season.
No, I don't think that's the plan. I think it would be Nathan Fillion to do a mini series, because he from what I was told when it was Universal, he said, I've basically always had the story idea in my mind. I'd love to see where those characters are now. But even then, he was looking at a trilogy of sort of movies, and I think it would be similar. It would be a mini series, 6 episodes most, done, and you will never see Nathan Fillion as a space cowboy again. And then they will move on to something else, and maybe they would bring in like Jewel State or somebody like that as a legacy character. And you
be careful there. We want Nathan Fillion as a cowboy.
No, but it wouldn't be Nathan Fillion. No, he will do a mini series or something. That would be it.
That makes
as far as that's what I'm being told anyway.
There'd be a way to keep him in it with taking, you know, having him do less action, though. I think bring in younger characters to do the action, and he's sort of the leader, not actually doing the crazy stuff.
But I mean, at his age now, he's still doing action stuff. He's more than capable.
Yeah, I mean, he did just get cast as Green Lantern, so you know, and the young spry Green Lantern, like the cocky spry like Green Lantern at everybody. You know, it's not like the Green Lantern that's supposed to be stoic and I'm following the rules. He's the dumbass. It's like, all right, let's get this thing going. I got green powers. Let's do something cool. You know, it was just gonna be fun to see.
Yeah, he looks ridiculous, but he's supposed to look ridiculous. The character is ridiculous. I love how people have kicked off that he looks ridiculous, but he looks like the comic. And then people would kick off, it's not comic book accurate. Make something comic book accurate, and then people kick off, and it's like, for God's sake, make your minds up. But yeah. To talk for the last couple of minutes then before we sign off, do you have any concerns about the soft reboot, or is it fine as long as they do the transition thing? Does that sort of solve the problems for you? Because the one thing, I've done another video on this, basically saying it'll come out in a few days when I can be bothered, basically arguing, should they do the reboot? And my argument really is continuation, mini-series, where are these characters now? God, yeah, I would kill to see that. Just give me a list of names you want dead and I'll sort it. I'll do anything you want, and I want to see that. Soft continuation, though, soft reboot. I'm like, Firefly. The concept of Firefly is stupid. It's cowboys in space. It makes no sense, right? It shouldn't be a good show. In every, you know, if you just look at it from like, you know, remove the fact that it's amazing, remove episodes like Out of Gas, etc. If somebody describes Firefly to you, you would go, and this got made? This is stupid, right? But it worked because the writing was good and the cast was phenomenal, right? It's lightning in a bottle. It's properly lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
What are the chances that they could do that again?
Small.
Well, I don't think it's all that small because, I mean, Cowboys in Space is great, just like Pirates in Space. I don't think it's lightning in bottle in how good the cast was and these specific characters and everything. Icarus, it's live action Cowboy Bebop. It's not something that's new. It's conceptually is not lightning in a bottle. It's something that's been done for the last 40, 50 years, even longer than that, and will be continued to be done for many.
Yeah, I like manga and stuff like that as well. It's battleships in space and all sorts that look like the Yamato and stuff, and like it's been done in like conceptual sci-fi forever, in comic books and things.
Mm-hmm.
So that part, I don't know. It's an iffy thing where I don't know if they truly need to reboot it at the same time, because I don't know if there's enough story. As fun of the series is, as obviously watching for the first time last year, loved every moment of it, and I would love to see more of it. But the thing that always keeps coming back into mind, of course, we talk about Stargate all the time. That's 17 seasons of, okay, this could happen, 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 this could happen. There are natural ways to pick up. I don't know if there's really a natural way to pick up Firefly. It's been...
I don't know. Think about it this way, though. When Joss Whedon created that show, he'd have thought about a story arc for 5 seasons, because that's what they always do. They think about 5 seasons, a story. Yeah. Generally, when they do the pitch, that's kind of what they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
The movie basically says that's kind of where the first season was going to end. Obviously, it was bigger, and they, turned it into a movie and they redid it. But that's kind of where they were going with the first season.
Right.
So, with some jiggery pokery, you just basically move on to the second season. You would rewrite it, and you would, you evolve, and maybe he's been thinking about it for years, and you do something maybe a little bit different because it's 20-year gap and stuff. But there's a full universe out there to go and look into. They've got a basic good versus evil sort of plot mechanism there, as it is inner planets versus the outer planets.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be difficult to create a new show based on the same principle, the same concept, and you just carry it on with new characters, as long as you cast those characters well. But you have to get all of them. Well, no, I say that. Simon is very forgettable in that series. And I think they, but even that character, I'm going to say that actually, even they cast him well, though, because he's supposed to be a bit of a Weasley, unlikable character, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's
really just there for not River Phoenix.
He's a snob, basically, isn't he? No, he's quite unlikable. But he's forgettable. But Zoe, Kaylee, Jane, Wash, these characters were perfectly cast. That doesn't happen very often. That's really hard.
Yeah.
But everybody said that when TNG came out, Star Trek The Next Generation. How dare you do this? This casting's stupid, and we hate these characters, blah, blah, blah. And now we look back on it and go, Brent Spiner is Data. Nobody else could play that character. And even Will Riker, who I hated at first, grew into it, and you could see where the casting came from. So you just need to cast it right. It will live or die on the casting, but most shows do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did it once. They can do it again.
But the thing that I keep going back to, and I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but and as much as we love it, and there is the cult-like following of it, I'm still, and I'm the optimistic guy. I like to be optimistic, but I'm just having trouble finding it for this, because at the same time, if there wasn't an audience for it within the just natural zeitgeist of things, that while Joss Whedon was kind of popular back in the day, where are we going to be now? Is it actually going to be popular, or are we going to be where's the audience for it?
Years on, regularly voted one of the most popular sci-fi shows ever made.
Right. It kind of became popular almost after it was canceled. It's become
the
sort
DVD
of a box
set is what it is. Yeah, it was the DVD box set that made it.
If you're into sci-fi, you love this show, kind of thing.
Yeah. I remember going in. I caught one episode. I caught the episode where they get where they steal the ray gun. The Lazarus. I think it's called Lazarus, actually, isn't it? So I caught that episode by accident. I thought, I like Nathan Fillion. I remember, I've told this story a million times, I know, sorry, but I saw the trailer for this and I thought that looks stupid. And it was hidden in the UK, it was hidden away on the Sci-Fi Network. And, I didn't even know when it was on, sort of thing. But I caught one episode. I thought, oh my God, that was brilliant. And then I just happened to go in HMV, which is like a record store over here. I don't know if you got it in America or not, but I went in HMV, and at the front of the store, there was piles, like almost head height, of the Firefly box set, this brown box set that it comes in. I've still got it.
Right.
And they were piled up, and they were 20 quid each. And I'm like, I'm having that. And it very quickly became my favorite show ever. The problem was, at the time, I know it was Joss Whedon and his popularity, but Fox didn't trust this show. They didn't show the episodes in order. They kept skipping weeks because they had baseball on or something instead. And even over 12 episodes, they kept changing the time slot. So nobody watched it. But it was so popular, they spawned a movie. And made a crap load of money on DVD sales. And it is, every so often, it's voted the #1 sci-fi show ever made. It's not all the time, but regularly. And Disney Plus still get really good numbers on it. They get good numbers on it just from me, because I watch it every other year.
Just to stay with
right now. So
in a few minutes.
And the other thing is, you've got one of the biggest stars on TV right now gagging to do it.
That's I think they're ace in the hole kind of deal. Because just for the sake of devil's advocacy, what still comes to mind is it wasn't that popular over at whenever it came out. Obviously, there's a multitude of things that caused that. It has become popular over the years, but also, is that age demographic too high for people to even go back to the theaters? Because that's the same demographic that doesn't want to go back to the theater most of the time. Young people.
In theaters.
Well, that'll be
a series. It'll be on Disney Plus. It'll be a miniseries.
Okay. Well, I guess the other thought process is I don't know anybody else my age that has seen Firefly. Matt hadn't seen Firefly, and he's 5-6 years older as well. And I don't know. I hang out with people that are about 35 is like my average friend, which I just tend to hang out with people older than me. But everybody, I don't know a single person outside my friend group that's younger than 40 that's seen Firefly.
Yeah. But over 40s adore it.
Yeah, but those are not.
And we're the ones that pay the Disney Plus subscription. So,
but also
if
not
you
like
do something like this, you tap into Nathan Fillion's popularity. So, and he is still popular. The Rookie is a very popular TV show. Castle was. You tap into that popularity. You got to remember, Nathan Fillion wasn't the big name. Firefly. It was Castle that made Nathan Fillion a star.
Yeah,
he wasn't a star. All he'd done before that was he played a villain on Buffy, and he was a bit part in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. He wasn't friends with James Gunn back then. It was after Firefly he did Slither and a couple of other movies. He was not a star when Firefly came out.
No.
All you have to do to advertise this is Nathan Fillion's new show Firefly, and people will watch it. And then they'll go back and watch the original series. Then that's. I honestly don't think that demographic thing is a problem. It's and they won't care. It'll make money. It'll make money hand over fist.
I hope so. I do worry.
The only thing is, if it's not very good, or even if it's not brilliant, it's got to be brilliant, or a lot of fans will turn on it. I think, because it's so loved. It's going to be one of those series, if they do the mini-series, that you'll probably be disappointed first time you watch it and be annoyed. And then 12 months later, you'll think, I'll give it another go, and you'll love it. Because your expectations are going to be like Pluto something. And it's almost impossible for it to reach those expectations.
My last devil's advocacy thought, and as much as I love all my Star Wars,
such a grumpy goose.
I try not. I'm the optimist most of the time, but the thoughts are here, so we have to roll out with them and figure them out. You know?
Come on, spew your poisonous thoughts out on us.
I love Skeleton Crew. I think it was the best thing that Disney and Star Wars has done live action wise since, of course, Andor and Rogue One prior to that, and besides Mando season 1 and season 2. The viewership since season 3 of Mando since Acolytes and Skeleton Crew, that is the demographic of folks, especially the young age, that would be watching it. Does that worry you as well? Or does that excite you in a way where, okay, people are pissed off at Star Wars, but there's still obviously a want for that space pirate, space Western kind of feel? Can Firefly take that over for the older group? Or is that going to hurt it?
Considering the political situation as well in the world at the moment, I think people are desperate to see something that's a bit tongue-in-cheek, that doesn't take itself too seriously, that's almost old-fashioned in the way it's made, that's maybe a bit... It's not woke, basically. You can't say Firefly was woke, because it isn't.
No.
It's men being men, women being whores, but in a fun way. It's, you know, it's...
I was about to say, watch out, Sarah's going to reach that Stargate again.
Inara was a whore, but the way they did it, she was the most respectable person on the crew. I just love that. It was such a clever thing to do. I honestly think this is a show that actually people are screaming at, and it may be one of the reasons why Disney are looking at it. They might look at it and think, this is a show that actually fits what's going on at the moment, and maybe because they are, I get told that executives over at Disney are very aware they keep being called woke, and that there's this attitude that's against them, and they want to try to do something to try and shift against it. And the way to do that is to make shows like The Boys and Firefly, so that doesn't take itself too fucking seriously. It's just fun and a bit cheeky, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
if they're able to tap into that, it could do some magic.
Yeah. Can we? I want to watch Skeleton Crew.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. It did get less views, but it was so much better. It's so much better.
I saw that and I was like, what?
You know what was disappointing?
I need a wee. If you're going to waffle on for another 2 minutes, I'm going for a wee.
Okay. We'll jump out of here.
It's not a girdle. It's not a girdle. I've got a bad back.
Now I'm questioning it.
No, it's a bad back thing. Shut up.
I just wonder if Acolyte, because Acolyte was so bad when Skeleton Crew came out, people were like, I'm not watching it. Because
it had that Last Jedi effect. Solo is not the best thing ever, but it's not as bad as nobody went to go see it. But nobody went to go see it because everyone pissed off at Last Jedi.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I think it was that effect.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Maybe that'll change over time. People start watching it as it's, it gets out there that it's a good show.
Well, it's so good. And it is self-contained. That and obviously Andor isn't as self-contained per se because it leads into that next story. But those stories are just, they don't need to necessarily be part of the Skywalker saga. They just inform the world, and not necessarily huge parts of it, just enough. And they're so good. They're so good. Andor and Skeleton Crew, the ones that they should be making things off of. And
right,
as much as I love OG Star Wars stuff, the formula has been run pretty dry at this point.
Yeah.
I better comment on the video where I'm trying to defend that actually Disney, as long as they leave Nathan Fillion to do this. How much did Disney pay you to do this? You are correct in stating that it will be Nathan Fillion's or the highway. Disney as a company is a loser than a $2 when it comes to canon. I don't blame them for this. Make a good movie and people will want to go see it. Anyway, it is an opportunity for Disney to right the ship and blah, blah, blah. Disney, I wish Disney would pay me some money.
Yeah.
Give me 1/10 of what bloody Skeleton Crew cost to make. And I will say anything you want. Yeah. But Mark Q, thank you. Actually, most of your comment just actually does agree with me. I just like the way you started. How much did Disney pay you to make this? I wish.
Hey, Disney, pay us to. We'll talk about Firefly till you make it.
Oh, I'm a complete whore. Give me money and I'll say whatever you like. No problem with that at all. I'm too honest. I can't. If I did, it's why we've never sort of done advertising. I couldn't sit here and go, hey, buy. I remember Timu Team, is it Timu? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Timu. They approached us and went, right, we will pay you. I think it was $250, and give us $250 free sort of credit to spend on Timu, which, as it turns out, would have been a horrible investment because you could have bought hundreds of things, but all of it would have been shit. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. There's no way. I mean, like, yeah, okay, 500 quid basically they were offering me to do it, and I'm like, nah, you're all right. And I've never done it because I couldn't sit here and go, Timu's great when I knew it wasn't. So I was like, Timu's fantastic. Go into Timu. Give me money. Anyway, I could do advertising if it was something I actually used. So if a butt plug company came along.
Hey, we didn't bring it up this time.
No. If a back support company comes along and gives me money to support the back support, because this thing is marvelous. It comes up over your shoulders and stuff. Brilliant thing. It actually makes me sit up straight. It's fantastic. Yeah. I realised that when I stood up, you saw it quite dramatic. My mom, I wore it when I went around my mom's the other day. And so I took my jumper off that I was wearing, and I didn't mention it. I kept seeing her looking at me, so like you can just see them look at you something. And Mom was just like, but I didn't say anything. I just and it took about 20 minutes. And goes, go on then, explain it. It's like, it's a back support, Mom. Because right, it forces you to basically hold your shoulders back and sit straight. That's basically. It stops you from, oh, wow. See, even doing that, so force. But it's got a thing down the back, and it forces you to hold it in the right position. Because
one of the ones that follows your spine.
So that's why that's there, because the thing actually goes right down to the pit of my back, sort of. But while I'm at my desk, I wear it, and it's marvelous.
The back bra.
It's a back bra. Yeah. But you sit like this, don't you, working, and then you think, oh my god, my back, and it's like, so just stop shit.
Literally, I spent half this episode doing this. I'm gonna stand up after all this and just go, until I get into a decent position again.
Crack. Yeah, but
we proudly endorse girdles and plugs.
And
exactly, if there's a company out there that does both, I mean, I'm all in. Boom.
We were talking about that the other day.
The only time I was tempted was Star Trek Online approached us to do it. And I was tempted. Before you sort of, Harris, got more heavily involved, they approached us the first time around, and I was tempted, and they've done it again since, haven't they? But I decided not to, because I thought I can't do it. I tried to do a trailer for the channel once, and it took like 20 takes, and it was still shit. I just can't do it. I'm just not very good at it. But I thought I'll give it a go. But then the money they want to pay you to do it isn't much, to be honest. No. And I thought, just to annoy people, I'm not sure it's worth it. The only way I would do it, and more importantly though, I actually played the game, and it's crap. So I wouldn't have been a very good advert for it. Because did you like games that are repetitive and stupid? Then you might like Star Trek Online, because it goes pew 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 every so often. So I wouldn't have been it wouldn't have been a good trailer. But if a product that I actually like if Blue Bricks, we actually had a deal with Blue Bricks at one point, and they backed out. They'd changed their minds. All I asked for was they were going to do it, and I just said, "Don't pay us. Send me some Lego." I'll do it. Send me Lego and I'll do it.
Right.
But they backed out. So, but that sort of thing, I would do that. But I'm not doing it just for this. I'm not doing it for money. It's not worth it.
We were contacted by the SciTrek Star Trek little game 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know. If y'all would like us to have ads, y'all let us know, because that would technically, even though we're not getting a whole bunch from it, yada yada, and it is a little more annoying, it could help us elevate to a larger channel down the road. So if y'all would like us to do that,
the channels that do it, they basically double their income from it, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that allows you to do more.
That could pay for some Comic-Con tickets to get you over here, to get us to Basingstoke or something, or Greg has a bunch of great ideas.
Basingstoke.
All the above.
Basingstoke.
stoking basils.
Americans.
Or there's a bunch of Fallout
that's the thing, isn't it? If you use it, that's and use it to grow the channel, use it to invest back into the channel, then it's worth it. But you just got to find products that are worth.
It's got to be something that correlates with sci-fi, like you said. It can't just be like, here's Squarespace, make a channel.
Something you find that's important. Say if I don't know, I've not done charity, but say a product came forward, so you thought, actually, that's a brilliant product. I use that. Actually, I don't mind endorsing that because it's a good product. It doesn't have to be sci-fi related if it's a good product or something. But don't just do it for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean? If it was like for me, Man United came forward and went, "We'd love to sponsor you to do a thing," I'd be like, "Yeah, okay, I'm fine with that. Can you get Eric Cantona to come and do the video with me? Yes, you can. Yeah." I wouldn't argue, but if if it was something that I was excited by, then you do it. It doesn't have to be sci-fi, but at the same time, we've said no to almost. We've had several offers, and we always say no because then nobody likes adverts. We don't even bother like asking for people to subscribe like a lot of channels do.
I always feel bad every time I do. That's why I wait till the end of the video. I'm just like, okay, now press the button.
Yeah. I have a little thing that comes up.
I don't feel bad. I'll do it. I'll tell people subscribe. It doesn't bother me. Do it.
Yeah. Let us know. I'll just press the button when you say it.
Pimp us out. But yes, if you haven't subscribed,
I'll sell Timu. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. How much? 100 quid worth of free stuff.
Well, maybe anyway, this is stuff to like not on. This isn't the forum to discuss it, but anyway,
Yeah, true. It's crap. Yeah. But I have nothing against it. It's just it would have to be done right, and also it's a lot of effort.
Yeah, I'd like to do it right as well if we start doing stuff like that. So y'all let us know in the comments if you want us to advertise. I can guess what the answer is going to be, but also say, do you want SciTrek to grow as a channel in the future in many ways? Yeah. We'll have to.
We need to
decide.
I think people understand, the balance that you have to, the line you have to walk to do this.
Do it like that Ryan George and make a joke out of it as well. He's got the
Ryan George is great.
Yeah. And he does. Let's not forget that. Yes, please hit that notification bell so you know when next. And go up to Tacky on Pulse podcast and do that as well, because that helps.
Was M Cubed is going to be cinema. It is now SinemaTrek already. We're going to be doing some stuff with that soon too. That's going to be fun. Need a new logo for it, but yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Make lots of money and come on live every night. Hey, if we're making money, we would.
We're going to be live a lot more, aren't we? We're already starting. We're back on Friday, back on Sunday, so we're doing 3 times a week.
Yeah, let's go ahead and I guess close this one out. We can continue this conversation afterwards because y'all have helped us. Thank you all so much, chat, for deciding and deciphering some of these things. But for the things that we're doing for the rest of the week, we should have a Radical Wasteland podcast this Friday. Just gotta contact Greg and double check, but that would be Greg, Jamie, and I, which would be a lot of fun. Tomorrow on Thursday, I'm going to finish off season 1 of Star Trek Enterprise. Doing the last 3 episodes, which will be fun.
Oh, have you done Conspiracy yet?
Excuse me, I'm doing that on Friday. Tomorrow is the 2 episodes before that. Remind me which one's Conspiracy?
The aliens that jump inside the head.
I don't think so.
Right, it is one of the last few episodes. Best episode of the season by miles. You remember it because a bug thing.
The last 2, I loved the last 2. It was the one with the ghost, essentially the hologram people. That one father and daughter were still alive from their ship crashing so long ago. So all the crew had been sent into space in their pods, and they were that was a simple episode, but I really appreciated the complexity. Like they added to all the little subtle moments, which was really nice. The next episode, I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as that one, but it was badass. Was there's a lot of action. I'm trying to think of what it was. One of them at the end of Enterprise. That next episode was really good there too. I think there's only 5 left. I'm pumped.
Oh, Conspiracy is about 18 or 19 episode, I think. So, but okay. I don't know which episode I'll be. But the first season of TNG is by far the worst. It only gets better.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. It's like if you're liking Enterprise this much, wait till you get to.
Oh no, it's Enterprise. Not no, you're watching Enterprise first, not TNG, aren't you?
Yep.
Right, no, TNG. It's Conspiracy is TNG. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the first season of Enterprise very well.
There's a lot of like
probably twice.
The episode I was thinking of, they get on that. It's the Sullivans, the bad cabal people, but they meet the good Sullivans and essentially help the big prison break from that prison penitentiary planet.
No, I don't really remember it very well. But anyway, let's call it a day because I'm not going to be able to watch Romulus.
Yep. So all of that, and then this evening we have our afterthoughts for the Skeleton Crew, which we should have some of the afterthoughts people in there. I don't know if Justin's going to be able to come in, but he should pop in for a little bit. Schmoog, Nick, I believe Melvin will be there. We'll have a few people, and y'all come say howdy, and we'll talk some good Star Wars, thankfully, for once. Because it doesn't happen too often nowadays, sadly.
Let me go and eat.
All right, go eat.
Let me go.